Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this live webinar on startup opportunities in the post-COVID world. I am Paresh Masade, CEO of Vaave, and your host for today. So we basically help colleges with their alumni relations, and today we are the leading players in the space with over 1,000 institutions spread across in India and 15 countries. So this webinar is part of a series called Career Center, where we look forward to help the students get an exposure to what's happening in the industry. We'll do live webinars focusing on careers, higher studies, and entrepreneurship. And today's webinar is all about entrepreneurship and startups. So we've been always told that adversities bring in opportunities, and to know the opportunities that exist, we need someone to have an eye and expert eye with, and like someone who can actually spot the opportunities that are there. And today we have a very distinguished guest today, Mr. Shashikant Choudary. He's an alumnus of VNIT Nagpur and from the 1983 batch. He was a serial entrepreneur. He started about 5 different IT companies and also an angel investor. He invested in more than 25 plus companies today. Also as a limited partner in venture capital firms like Bloom and IIFL. He started his career as an academician. He set up the entire computer science department at YCC Nagpur. And then in the last stint, he was also the managing director of Global Logic India. So now it makes him very special because he brings in the expertise from the entire spectrum of like academics, entrepreneurship, corporate life as an investor. So pleasure to have you, sir. Welcome to this live webinar. So we have with us close to about 250 plus attendees. We had about 500 plus registrations. Hopefully we'll get at least another 500 live attendees coming in. The attendees keep joining us. So, sir, but we can probably start the conversation. So let's start with the current situation in the country. The country is in lockdown and businesses are closed. There's a lack of visibility entirely in what's going to happen. So how do you see this entire situation, sir?
Thank you, Paresh and Vaave, for giving me an opportunity to be speaking to this gathering of people over here. I think this is going to be in a very interesting world. So always we talk about those defining moments in the history of the mankind, just like a pre-iPhone and the post-iPhone, even from a technology side. We will be talking going henceforth pre-COVID and post-COVID. And post-COVID world will be definitely very different because it's going to stay. No, I mean, till the vaccine comes in and vaccine becomes successful to an extent, it is proven. Till that time, everybody is going to be worried, and the most concern for the people is going to be health, and they are going to be very conscious about it. And the countries will be now, corporations will be on and off mode now. So they will be on, and we never know what will be the off situation and when that off situation will come. It is almost predicted. You know, the Gartner has said, even in his presentation, that this move to work from home is possibly going to increase from 5% to 25% globally. That is going to happen. I mean, globally it has already started, and it is not a new phenomenon. But I think this has accelerated in the recent past because of the COVID, and people have seen a lot of efficiencies in terms of the work that gets done. And many people have said that they are more efficient in working at home than the office. And from that, even you look at the statement from TCS. TCS has said that they are going to be a borderless offices. By 25, they are going to be like 75% of the people will be working out of home. Only 25% of the people would be working out of offices. And I mean, this is a leading player. A lot of people are going to follow what TCS would be doing. And in terms of like the, I think almost like 4 or 5 days back, we got a news even from the Twitter. Twitter said that for a year, people will not have to come to the office. I mean, every person in the organization is going to be working out of office. Now, the headquarters of a lot of companies are going to be in cloud. I mean, there would not be a kind of a fixed location for some of this company. And we have started seeing those kind of trends as I was talking about. You know, one of the company which I normally talk about is the company we started in 2010 in US. They had 50 employees. And at that time in 2010, which is 10 years back, these 50 employees were distributed in 12 states of United States and 10 countries. This was 10 years back. Fast forward 2020, this company has 940 employees. And 940 employees are distributed across 47 states and 60 countries. That is 6 times. And this is not the COVID effect. This was a pre-COVID. Now post-COVID, there is going to be a permanent shift that's going to happen. Even if you look at the Indian companies, for that matter, the gray orange is one of these companies Bloom invested. The company is headquartered at Gurgaon. The founders sit in the US. Their R&D happens in Boston and Singapore. If you look at even a unicorn company, which is like $1 billion valuation, the name of the company is Delivery. And this delivery company, the CEO, Sahil, sits out of Goa. And that's where even the Indian companies are getting distributed to an extent. See, what is going to happen is the skill will have most importance than the degree and the geography. Anywhere you are located, if your skill is going to be appropriate, you are going to be hired. That means now there are global opportunities for any person having that kind of skill. He can be just sitting at home and he will still be a global employee. That's going to happen. That's going to be reality. And that's already, we have started seeing those things happen. And, even this is one of, as people call it, this is one of the largest home experiment, work from home experiment across the world. And it's not a small experiment. This experiment is going on for last, 60 days, 90 days, and people in this 90 days form some very unique habits, and they get tuned to newer habits. And then the moment they see the benefits of that, the people might change the way they would work. What we are going to see is, as the founders from HP, they have said that doing right things in the worst environment is the biggest competitive advantage. Even otherwise, even if you look at from a different angle, if the weather is clear and you are racing competition, and there are lot many competitors ahead, they can see you in the windscreen, they can see you in the rear glass mirror. But when it's storming, when it is hailstorm, nobody can see. Oh, that's a time. Sometimes you can get in front of your competition and he will not know. So you have a chance over there. And even if you look at a lot of VCs in the US, if you see their startups portfolio, and if you see what's the distribution of the teams post Series A funding, and some of the VCs, the Series A funded companies in their portfolio, almost 100% are distributed. So that now that can come in as, if your teams are not distributed, maybe people would think that you are not hiring right people. You are not hiring right talent, because the talent is going to be available. That's where the things are going to move. I believe as a lot of people, this topic is more about opportunities. Most of the companies, almost like 57% of the companies, started in the bad times. The companies we see, which are the giants now, they started in the times when the times were very, very bad. In 2000 timeframe, the JD or the Airbnb, Ubers, of those kind of companies, they really formed because that was a time when people wanted to save money. Airbnb was a good option to save money. That was a time to save money for sharing rides and getting the cheaper rides. And that was the Uber came in. Those kind of companies which are going to add value at this point of time, this is really a good starting time. And again, I normally say that you need to start your companies when the chips are down, and you need to time the market. So when the chips are down, start your company. As the market will turn around, you need to peak when the market peaks. It's not a good thing to peak when the market is down. And normally this cycle is like 4 to 5 year cycle, and market will again peak. And if you start it right now, and it takes like 4 to 5 years to reach to a top. So if the market peaks and you peak at that time as a startup, oh, that's going to be a very, very interesting thing. That's going to happen. Zoom is now going to be not corporate application. Zoom is like a consumer application, and that's a great trade. Moment we see that any technology which moves from a scientific domain to a corporate to a consumer, moment it becomes a consumer domain, there is a huge success. That's where we call that technology has become transparent, and we use it like palm of our hand. I mean, we don't take too much of effort. And now this, senior people to junior people to even the what we would see, the lot of workforce would get added, because these people, the old people, they might be good, and they are sitting at home. The people who are physically challenged, but intelligent people sitting at home. The woman, lady, female, they cannot, because of the family and all those things, very talented, but sitting at home. Now this workforce will get opportunity, because now they are going to be available as like any workforce. So we will see a lot of opportunity coming for physically challenged people, for old people, for female people. That's where, this is a time, even if you want to start afresh, this is a time where you can start with a blank slate, because the competition is weak. That's a time I would say, you need to start thinking. And everywhere we'll talk about the industry segments, but everywhere there would be challenges and there will be opportunities. For example, let's take very small, and then we'll move on. The telco, telco, they would have lost a lot of business on the B2B side from the corporate and all those things, but because they are closed, but they have got a lot of business on the B2C side, right? So those things are going to happen. So whenever there are certain crisis element, as an entrepreneur, you will have a unique view, a unique lens an entrepreneur wears, through which he will also try to look at what are the opportunities in different sectors.
Absolutely. So that's a very positive thought. So you were saying that when the time is down, you actually can see things that no one else probably will see. I would want you to help understand more in specific industries, because there are different industries where actually a lot of opportunities can open up. Can you just share your thoughts on that? What are the different opportunities that will open up specifically?
Sure. Yeah. So I would talk on like 5 to 6 different segments in terms of the opportunities for the startups, as well as for even the small businesses that can be turned sometimes into startups. And what I would do, I would share my screen. It's not a classical presentation, but just for the reference, so that people have something to see on the screen in one view. And I would take it from a industry segment to industry segment. Would that be fine?
Perfect.
Okay. So let me take you to the my presentation. Are you able to see it now?
Yes, sir.
So, the sectors which are, all sectors are affected for that matter. And what I have done is I have taken two kind of views. One for the normal businesses, and one even for the opportunities for the startups in that space. So, this is just a cloud which acts as a reference for our discussion. Even for small businesses, I would be spending 5 to 7 minutes on each of the sector, and I'll start with this first. So what's happening is going to be real-time threat monitoring. That's going to be now going to be a real picture now, right? Whatever we could see at the airports in terms of physically checking, in terms of whether are you carrying any kind of hazardous material or any kind of product, but now it will be real-time monitoring of biometric also, biomedical. Even your health parameter, your temperature, your respiration. They will now, everywhere you go, this will be an opportunity where if you can provide a real-time health monitoring as to who is entering, what's happening at the airport or at the hotel or at any particular office facility, that's going to be very, very interesting. Of course, elder care is going to be very much in India itself. we are talking about 200 million people which are going to be in a geriatric space. And these people, I am getting a lot of calls in Nagpur also, in terms of like the old people are getting stuck. Now I have a friend in Singapore and who has called me, his father is 92 years old, and an aunt is taking care, she is like 82 years, and now this guy, this 92 years old father has a problem because of some temperature or something of like that, and he's sitting out of Singapore. Who is going to take care of this elder care? Now, that's going to be an opportunity going forward. What we have realized, it is not the situation only for the COVID, it is going to go beyond that. If you look at, the even the opportunities for physiotherapy, for that matter, physiotherapy for the people who have cancer, or physiotherapy for people who have just been operated. Now the people cannot go to the hospitals because again they might be asymptomatic carriers, or they might not, or they might get carrier, because the cancer patients are very, very insecure because of their immune systems are down when they are going through chemo. Now, if they go to the hospitals, it's going to be a problem, but they need some rehabilitation. A lot of companies have started giving the physiotherapy online. I mean, QRFit has already started that. In fact, in Nagpur, there is a company called as Your Physio, and this Your Physio, I am taking sessions. Every day there is a 1 hour session, which is on the Zoom, and they will share the screen. They will share the kind of animation in terms of what exercises I need to do, and they will do the consultation and they will guide me through the exercise. And now, because of this, now they have got patients sitting at Nagpur, they have got the patients from metros, from Delhi and Mumbai, and now last week they told me they started getting patients even from US. So that's where they were just physically located in Nagpur. They had physical centers, and they just use this new channel in terms of the online, and now their business probably now, and as we can say, though they have not scaled to that extent, these are the initial days, but that's where now this their boundaries are not there. From they can go to metros and all those things. Now a lot of stuff is going to be for PPE for professionals. Now these professionals are going to be worried whether they are judges, whether they are lawyers. What is going to happen is they are also going to wear the protection equipments, personal protection equipments. They really want that kind of safety, because everybody is going to be worried. There is going to be opportunity for low cost ventilators. The ventilators need to be repaired. There is big opportunity for any small businesses. You can print the critical parts, the 3D printing, using 3D printing. You can just print the critical parts of the ventilator, because these ventilators cost you something like 11 to 12 lakh rupees. Repairing is a big opportunity for the businesses. Renting is the big businesses. Even coming out with the indigenous kits, CSIRs, and all these people, they are now going to be licensing these technologies and kits, and where the people can license those and start manufacturing. Certification of baby care. Now, as the things will move forward, for the kids to be put in the baby care, you will require this baby care to be certified to the COVID standards. You need a lot of businesses are going to happen around isolation units, the treatment tents, even the tiny face shield. I mean, this is what I was talking about in terms of the small baby shields to be created for the kids just born in the hospital. Now they need to be protected. Can you create those very highly sensitive, very light touch, the tiny face shields? The car wash companies can start coming out with the new models using their drive-through models, through which they can create a disinfection chambers, or self-diagnostic medical devices. I mean, those are home healthcare, telemedicine, Ayurveda. These are going to be the huge opportunities coming forward in terms of even the startups. A lot of companies have really started. As I was talking about, though it's not a very, very good example, but still, purely from a business opportunity perspective, let's take the will execution. See, 75,000 people have died in US, right? And the number is increasing because still 14 to 15 lakh of people are still into the infection. And these people die alone. They are not supposed to allowed to meet to their family members and all those things. Now, there's one company who has come in. We said that, okay, we will make sure that you can execute your will as with respect to your property in a very smart way using the new technologies. And that's a company which now there was a problem because the patient were dying alone. Now they have come up with this. The Jarvis is one of the very interesting company where it's using the UV sensors. This is mounted. This is a robot and which can be mounted on a truck and with a camera. And you start driving it or start focusing on the crowd. It will, from 100-meter distance, it will show you the people with a temperature more than a given threshold. For example, the people, this video series for the pregnant women are very, very worried as to what care they should take. Nobody is telling them at this point of time. So there is a company who has really, what they have done is they have come out with a series. This is a startup who have come out with a series of videos of what to take care in terms of the pregnancy, and these are the videos they are making it available to the nurses. Now, one company is saying that if you have a problem, COVID, not COVID, we will make sure that you get access to the best of the doctors through a telemedicine. And they have now come out with the kind of an application, regular problem or COVID problem, you can really talk to them. A lot of companies have now come up with a contact-free monitors and mini ICUs. Now, what they are doing, these are like the patches or kind of a mini ICU. The patches could be stuck on your chest, or the patches could be below your mattress, or this mini ICU could be just like 3 feet or 4 feet away from the patient, and still it can monitor the typical conditions with respect to the temperature and the respiratory rate all across the world. I mean, you don't have to be there. There is a company called as Microbiome, which is like, with respect to specific to your gene combination, what could be the better treatment? Then, the Fitbits and smart thermometers. What companies have done is that they're trying to monitor where the Fitbits are being used. And, in that cluster of the Fitbits, let's say take a cluster of 2 kilometer by 2 kilometer, if the respiratory rate of that cluster typically shows 10% increase, that means there is a likely chance that there is possibly kind of a possibility of flu or the virus, through which because of the temperature the heart rate has gone up 10%. They can look at that cluster and take a proactive measure. Even the smart thermometers, which are not prevalent in India, but in US they are, and they can look at the clusters where the thermometers are showing because that data is centrally collected, whether this temperatures in that cluster is more than 2%. They can really go and look. There's a huge opportunity in terms of the patient-centric health data. Most of the health data was clinic-centric, hospital-centric. Now US has moved a resolution, and even the WHO is moving towards that now the patient should be able to carry their own healthcare data, and it should be interoperable. That means I have my patient data with me as a patient. I can go to any hospital, any country hospital in the world, and the moment I am able to give access to my patient data, be it on the card or be it on the cloud, that data should be accessible to anybody in an interoperable way. And that's going to be a huge opportunity. And in the US, they have given a 2 years window for all the health companies to modify their health system. And some of the companies are using the smart Google APIs through which they're trying to make it interoperable. There's a huge opportunity for the startup. So let me move to the next one. Is it okay, Paresh?
Yes, sir.
Are we very fast, or is the speed?
We can go a bit faster because, yeah, maybe.
Is it a bit faster?
No, you can go a bit faster because.
Okay. Yeah. So let me go a little bit faster. So I'll try to do. This is a big area. Tremendous opportunity because we are now, home economy. We are working in that particular space. A lot of companies who are going to help, the remote working. Even, for example, HVACs, the ducts and walls and desks have to be, you need to disinfect them and sanitize them. There will be the companies. Whether you can get the chairs, fans, ACs, antimicrobial filters, yes. Even homes will now have a studio office, which is not prevalent, but the new homes that will start coming in and which will be in good demand, which will have the home office with the studio office. The companies will offer combined offering. For example, a cleaning company was a separate company, disinfecting company was a separate. Now they will combine the cleaning plus disinfecting companies. I would need any office for that matter, any store for that matter, any home for that matter. They would want to see which are this cleaning and disinfecting company who can sanitize my office. Now, is there any website, any portal? Can I go there? Right now, I can't. Right now, if anybody can create that kind of a portal or if that can website, that's going to be very, very interesting. Any startup who says that we are a COVID certification company, we would make sure that we will clean your office or home and we will certify it. Yes. For example, in the Zoom, even virtual background. We are now doing a Zoom conference, and there could be a virtual background which is branded by the company branding, right? Very interesting company branding. Every time the Zoom conference happens, so there will be huge opportunity for creating those backgrounds. The content players who can create that, DRBC consultants. I mean that there's going to be requirement for disaster recovery, but business continuity people. Even quite pet toys. Right now I'm working, giving this kind of a Zoom seminar, and I have my pet dog. Just listen to me. I never know at what time he will start barking. Can I give him toys which can keep him quiet? Even the companies would come up, would say that we'll do your setup, table to email kind of setup. Even the facility management system, can there be intelligent facility management system? There is going to be huge setup which is going to be there. The companies who are saying that we'll manage your facility by intelligent FMS. There are going to be redesigning of the offices. Even the laptops and mobile holders, that's going to be huge. I'm talking about small companies. Even right now I'm sitting over here and the light has to be good. Fortunately, it might be, but not at home everybody. Now they would like to have the lights which could be placed like in camera on your laptop, and light comes on your screen. In play spaces for your kids. Now our homes, you might have small kids, and you will require the play spaces where these maps are there, and the kid is playing inside that map itself. Even a lot of the material which is going to be used, like the shark screen or the copper, they have said that the handles will be replaced. The copper and alloys will be coming back, just because the bacteria cannot stay more than 2 hours beyond that. That's going to be the opportunities for the normal businesses. What are the opportunities for the startups? The lot of stuff is going to happen remote. So DigiLocker, digital sign, it's going to come in big way. Collaborative design. Now, not many people will be sitting out of multiple places. Even Airbnb uses this software, Figma, and where all people are sitting at different places, and the people are using that Figma as a tool to design, prototype, and come out with that kind of a product which can be quickly rolled out. Now, a lot of meetings are happening right now on the Zoom. Now the Zoom will be stored, and you will be putting some of those things on the video on the YouTube. Now, already there are companies who are doing the transcripts of the Zoom meeting. Even the different participants who talked what, right? They will be able to identify the 5-6 people who are in the meeting, attach a signature to that, and with the signature mapping, every time out of that 6 people speak, what they speak and who spoke, they will be able to transcribe that, and that will be offered as a kind of a service. Even, for example, now if the people are going to be hiring remotely, if I'm going to hire some person from, I'm sitting in Maharashtra, I'm going to hire a person from Chennai. Now, the educational credentials have to be made available online through a blockchain verification. Now, those companies are going to come in. Cleaning aggregator, as I said, they are going to come in. It's colorized disinfectant is a very, very interesting startup. What they do, they add a kind of a special dye in a disinfectant, and as you spray that dye on a surface, it will show in a blue color or a red color which areas are still not covered. And because of that visual feedback, you will be able to spray that disinfectant on the place where you have possibly missed out. And after 2 hours, that color goes off. So that's where new disinfectants are going to come in. There are the companies who are now coming out with that, video interviews for the people to join. I mean, you don't have to come. There is company. There are a lot of companies now started coming in. You go to the company's website, click on the URL, and you can give interview. The chat box on that side will ask you questions, and on this video you are giving the interview, and this video is getting analyzed, and you will get the company will know whether you are good enough. In terms of like the lot of crowdsourcing companies are going to come in. Every time you enter the office, what time you entered, what was your temperature, what was the air quality, what was your in terms of your respiration rates and all those things, they are going to just make sure that they are going to be monitored. Even for example, the Manatee Filter right now, I'm sitting all freshened up, but the meeting could be 5 o'clock in the morning, and there could be this vanity filter I can attach to my face, and my face suddenly looks a little professional. So those kind of things will happen in the remote working startups. Let's move to the next topic. Tourism. I mean, badly affected right now, but will there be opportunities going forward? Yes, there are going to be the opportunities, going forward. There's just one company which has come up in the Bangalore, as I know. What was the name of this company? Ticket Cello or something like that. I'm just trying to find out what was the name of this company. We just came in, and this is like Cello Card. Now they have come out with the Cello Card, which says that the buses are going to be 20 times safer because of the NFC card, which can be given to the passengers, and QR code, and without even touching the conductor and all those things, this card can be charged, and they can scan the QR code, and that's a contactless. They have already started their operation in Guwahati, and they are going to start almost 400 buses pilot in Vijayawada. When people have already started. In the healthcare, there's one company from Nashik. I don't know whether you know this company. The name of this girl is Nikita Dattani from Malegaon, and she created, the company called as Mystery, and it is the mask with the nanofibers. And with the nanofibers, that they give like 96% of efficiency. And she has sold 75,000 masks so far. Now, coming back to the tourism, now, the COVID certification for the buses is going to be required. Even for the hotels, they will have to come out with this policy, travel and confidence policy, that what we do to make sure that our facilities and our processes are very clean. Now, even the hotels, they will have to follow the standards, what they follow in the airlines. If you go to the Qatar website, they will tell you what's the air conditioning they do. 99.9 bacteria are killed. How they handle their cutlery, how they handle their linen, how these linen are boiled at 110 degrees, for how much time. The same standards are going to be required to be followed by hotels. Even as an industry, you go to a restaurant, you will want to check out medical records of the people who are serving you, the waiters, the chefs who are preparing, the people who can create the sanitizing service for the restaurant, as well as the medical records of the restaurants workers. Good, it's good to be an opportunity. Door frame metal detectors. Everybody coming in the hotel. When I'm talking about tourism, I'm talking about hotel and the buses as well as the airlines. Now, there will be a door frame detector. Everybody will just coming in. They will be sensed with respect to biomedical. The local tourism is going to increase. there is going to be opportunity. Goa has already come in, and Goa has said that, okay, if you want to come in, we are ready. Because people are now going to be worried, long distance travel for some time. If they get stuck up in Maldives, or they are going to be stuck there for a month, that's going to be a problem. Even the salt and pepper shakers, people will move, take out those kind of things, and there will be like a paper kind of stuffs, because salt and pepper shakers, not many people touch. Even in the immigration certification, in the immigration, when you are traveling, they would want immunization certifications. They would now want to know what would be your immunization, how much immunizations you have taken. Most of those vaccination histories and all those things, they are going to come in, and they are going to be very, very important. If the companies really start offering those, that's going to be very, very interesting in terms of the startups. Lot of disruption is happening at this point of time. The lot of cancellations, a lot of rebooking, and in terms of the startups might be. There are startups which have started coming in, which are now helping in multilingual chatbots in terms of cancellations, in terms of rebooking, because so many million people have booked and cancelled. What happens with them? There are now going forward, there are going to be this AI concierge service, which is going to be made available for the people in terms of the flight disruptions, in terms of the travel disruptions. People want to know how I'm going to, move around, and if they want to take a decision. Even some of the companies have come out with devices which can measure the people, how many people are there in the restaurant. If the restaurant should be 50 people in the open area, they might be sitting 20 people, or if there are 100 people, they will be able to measure. That type of product can be very interesting. Even in the crowd, if people are traveling, how many people have worn the mask and not. This software, this from Jabalpur, and there is a company from US. They can tell you out of those 2,000 people or 100 people, these many people are not wearing masks. There is a company out of Dubai who has started a smart helmet. So everybody who is moving on a helmet, in the helmet itself, they will tell you the temperature. That's good. That's very helpful in terms of like monitoring the people on the move. Even the open table has shifted the model. Apart from the open table, which was for the table booking in the restaurants, now they are pivoted that, and now they are using this open table kind of facility for grocery shipping. Even the branded food kiosk, many people, they are not trusting the food from the roadside vendors now. If there are food kiosks which could come from a branded facilities, that could be huge. Those are going to be, even from the mask, even if you are wearing the mask, the sensor should be able to detect you whether you are the right person, and then they can allow you to come inside. Let's go to the next topic for the SMEs, for those normal businesses. Again, because people are stuck at home, entertainment is big, social gaming is big, gaming is big, gaming accessories is big. Lot of activities do it at your home. Lot of people, lot of videos, lot of instructions. People want to now do it at home. I want to do, cutting at home, nail painting at home, and you need those kind of content. So a lot of people who are going to create those kind of content, those players are, going to come in. A lot of regional content is going to be coming. Now the new films, there is one film which was, completely filmed only using iPhone and distributed. The people were located at multiple places, and they could shoot those, film, and that was assembled and that was shown. New genres will come in. Now, in terms of even viewing, there could be a different styles. People will have their own kind of preferences. Eros Quickie has already started coming out with their new format of 45-minute format. Sports, the sports are going to be now played in the US, that they have already started. In India, they will start now. In the stadiums, no people, but there'll be communities. You can talk to the community people of the sports enthusiasts. There will be microphones the live thing happening on the ground. There will be different cameras who would be sharing different type of streams, and there will be interactive communities who would be really enjoying that experience. Hangama Artist Cloud, I mean, they're already coming out with those kind of, famous artists who could be presented to the people, because people want to listen to that, and the artist would get an audience. That's where, even the new releases will start happening on the social platforms and OTT platforms. Even we'll see these OTT celebrities who have become big. Now they will graduate. Some of those who have good acting skills, they will now come in from OTT celebrities to, social to the OTT celebrities. From social, they will migrate to OTT, and they will be like new actors, which people will follow. One interesting lady has started these bedtime stories for the kids, because parents with 50 days lockdown have run out of their stories with the kids. Now what this lady has done, the same stories in a very slow tone, in a very, kind of the way our grandma would tell the stories, one story elongated for like 15 minutes. So she started recording the bedtime stories and these stories now the people are playing to their kids. A lot of these things are going to happen around the entertainment. Let's move to a next sector, which is the e-commerce and retail. Again, it's very affected, but again, there are other side of the game. This is for the normal businesses as what they could do. At this point of time, as we were saying, in the office spaces, the cleaning company and the disinfectant company can come together. Right now, we can see the grocery and vegetable companies have to come together. Lot of opportunities, and this is not for the startup, but a lot of opportunities for the content players, the photo editors, the videos, the photographers. The Spine just got funded. They offered photographers in just a matter of time. You are going to require professional team to manage, these catalogs to be created for the players. You can see the new, sort of like the thing which is happening. Every local shops now will either get into Shopify or Amazon, or they will now get in on the kind of WhatsApp and Reliance. There's going to be explosion because everybody will want to be online. They will all require digital marketing. Who is going to provide those digital marketing services to these players? Because now every shop will have a digital marketing channel. Can you? A lot of people, in terms of the retail, even the housing societies, what's going to happen is possibly they are going to create a drop zone. In that drop zone, there will be, ultraviolet, and any delivery that is made to the apartment complex, that delivery will probably go to this drop zone, and it will be disinfected by using the ultraviolet chambers, 45 nanometer. They can use that and keep it there for 25 minutes. And after, disinfecting that, then the people can come in and pick up their stuff. A lot of, even the manufacturing, the type of the things they will create, these things will be like modular. It should be easily assembled at the home, and it should be easily maintained. So a lot of this swap in, swap out kind of deliveries, the manufacturing might happen. Even the people are using VR and AR. For example, Tata Motors is using automatically right now virtual gallery. Dwellers are using now AR for their jewelries. Let's see the startups, what the startups are doing. The startups, very, very interesting things in terms of, like, let's take an example of musical message. Now this musical message is a company which is doing this kind of thing, that instead of sending message to my 85-year-old father, just like WhatsApp and all those things, now I cannot go there. What is being done? Some of these people are writing a very nice kind of an poem, or they are choosing the poem from net, and this poem is being sent to a music composer, an artist, This music composer and artist will compose original music, and this original music message, recorded message, will be sent to the parent. And in turn, the person who has composed, the person who has sung that message will get some of those dollars or some of that money. Remote business onboarding. Now, just imagine there is a company out of Bangalore. The name of the company is MMGH Munch. And what they have done is the video KYC. And they have the platform whereby they can onboard the businesses. For example, for Swiggy, they wanted to start operation in Agra, and now no person is going to Agra, no person is visiting the food establishments, nobody is going to restaurant. The company operating out of Bangalore, in last 1 month, they onboarded 850 small businesses on Swiggy. This is just because of the technology. They have the very interesting way of remote onboarding. That's very interesting when it comes to the retail. Even many of the players would want their catalogs. India, we don't have catalogs. In US, they will give you can go to a site and there are the catalog making companies, startups. Their only job is to create the catalogs. And any company who wants to create an e-commerce website or a web front can refer to that and get that catalog specific to their shops and their items which they want to, and create their shop front in a very small amount of time. Now, we don't have those cataloging companies. Can we create those catalogs, cataloging company? For example, also, next door Walmart, very interesting concept. This Walmart has launched that. What happens is the old people, when they want something from the Walmart, they know their people nearby, and they can, through their app, request the next neighbor if he's willing to, provide. If anyway is going to Walmart, pick up those items, and then those items could be delivered to this old person. So no delivery person is involved. People were anyway going, and old people were getting served at no delivery cost. That is going to happen. Lot of opportunity for Geo. Geo is going to create huge opportunity in the retail because of the WhatsApp. See, at this particular point of time, only maybe 40. We are talking about 40 to 50 million people who are shopping, which we are talking about India 1, the top level people. Though we have like 400 million smartphones, and soon we are going to touch to 800 million, 1 billion smartphones. They are going to make the shopping experience available through WhatsApp, which we use on a daily basis. This is from 40 million, we are going to almost 800 million to a billion. Just imagine the level of opportunity that is going to come in, and they are going to make it easy from a sourcing perspective for the retail to get it cheaper, and easy for shoppers. Just on the WhatsApp, they can select, and they can buy. The WhatsApp will provide the payment gateway facility also, and just even the digital POS. Right now, we are talking about the point of sale machine, 1.5 million in India. It is expected in the next 3 years, maybe only digital point of sale machines will go to almost like 40 to 50 million, 50 times increase. Huge opportunity is going to come in this particular space. I will just move to the next because we have a limited time, and just wanting to make sure that I cover this space. This is the education. Now, the people are already talking about the home education. People are already talking about remote education. Many US universities have already said that they will possibly do the entire course or maybe one semester completely remote. We already started seeing the complete online degrees for not only some of the courses like Coursera's and Udemy's and those kind of companies, what we are upgrade, what we are started seeing full degree courses, like a complete MBA program for 30,000 rupees or 40,000 rupees. In now from the open universities have now started offering this kind of course pre-COVID. So post-COVID, that's going to increase, and that's going to come as a kind of a trend, which is going to happen. In education, a lot of stuff is going to happening. Every school, every college. Right now, you talk to engineering college, you talk to medical college, you talk to pharmacy, you talk to dental, you talk to nursing. Everybody is struggling. What system I should use for examination? What should I do for online assessment? What should I do for degree certification? Distribution of my online degrees? How should I, do my online convocation? There is going to be, a lot of people, and people are struggling. There should be consulting companies. I'm talking about the businesses who can suggest a right combination of tools for those kind of setups. Every school is going to require. A lot of kids are going to be trained in the home. So can you provide in a business homeschooling kind of an tools and environment through the virtual as well as physical? In terms of learning management system, now this is going to increase the stuff. In terms of the people now doing this online cookery classes, getting training, music classes, tools, a lot of opportunities going to come in for the normal businesses to train these people to use online tools, use Paytm, use billing, use purchase through the e-commerce sites and all those things. They need to be trained. Now, who are the companies who are going to be training these kind of people? Need to come in, training the old people, training the brick and mortar companies like schools and all those things. Online, a lot of people are going to be depressed because they are losing their jobs. Now you require online counseling. A lot of content has to be created. There is a company called as from the SCL, Nayab, SCL's past CEO, and he has created through his Sampark Foundation the company product called as a Better. And this Better is they have spent a lot of money, and this online training available for Hindi content through Hindi. So almost like 150 million students would be able to learn now because this content is going to be available on Hindi. What are the startups? There are very interesting startups which are coming in, and there are opportunities. Even, for example, using the computer vision and AI, you can even teach the illiterate person. So the three combination, you can use the computer vision, you can use the AI, and you can use the text to speech. So what happens is even the person doesn't know read to write, he can start pointing that particular smartphone on a particular any object, and the camera would recognize that object. It will get fed to a image processing pattern recognition, sense what's the object, go back, find out what that information is, convert that into text, and convert that into speech. And that too, again, it will convert into a vernacular language. And that about the product, the phone will speak to that person even if it doesn't know how to read and write. Now, these are kind of companies which are going to come in. A lot of in-video analytics is going to come in because these companies, they can take the input as in video and go frame by frame and analyze video, analyze text, analyze what is being spoken, and they can now come out with a lot of information, and whereby now the example would be like the video game which I am talking about, that you don't have to go through this 45 videos of 1 hour each, because now these videos are indexed, because they will create an index text file, and you can now just go 5 minutes or 10 minutes each in all those 40 videos, and instead of watching for 45 hours, you would be done in like 2 hours. They will bring in that kind of flexibility. The proctoring, online proctoring is going to be very helpful because that startup has already started offering their services where the people will be there on the screen, 25 people, and one invigilator is sitting on the other side, and any activity that the student is doing which is little mischievous, this person can really point at that, and even by using the AI, that particular student's face will be enlarged, and people and the proctors and the invigilators sitting on the other side can see. A lot of tools are going to be required for peer-to-peer learning. that, hierarchical learning will change to peer-to-peer. So there are tools going to be required to manage it from one industry to another industry. If that learning has to be transferred, I should be going about it. Lot of stuff is happening because this is now going to become a mainstream, because the camera is watching me right now, and I can use the computer vision in terms of my eye gaze, whether I'm interested, not interested. The classroom activity, exam activity, I can check whether the person has understood, person is interested, not interested. I can do a lot of this stuff. Now, example would be, let's take one more interesting company. Now there are a lot of webinars. You must have seen a lot of webinars happening all across the world. Even in India, day in and out. Right now, we're into webinar itself. Now, if as a person, I want to find out that I'm interested in marketing webinars, marketing related webinars, where are those webinar listing sites? Can I go there? Can I find a webinar, series of webinars? Can I book those webinars? Can you create a startup around that? Whereby any person can go and register and discover those webinars. Right now, it's very difficult. If you get to know, you come. If you don't get, you don't. So there are a lot of these things which are going to come in from the education startups. Now, generic ones. I'm going to stop here. These are like the generic the opportunities. Even sanitizer bottle cap looks like it's a very small opportunity, but then this we are importing from China. Can you make the sanitizer bottle caps? I'm talking from the businesses. M&A is going to grow because a lot of companies are going to fold. And then you require a lot of consultants to do this M&A. Sensor augmented manufacturing. I mean, for all the places, hotels, lobbies, and everything, what is going to happen is now you are not going to touch. So you sensor operated, you wave or you talk, and the door should open, door should close, it should go to that particular floor. It is going to be all sensor operated kind of things are going to grow. The growing your own food. Now, in Amazon, if you go just at $200, now you can get a complete setup where you can grow your own vegetables at your home. I mean, those things are already there, which is going to grow. That's where we are at 12:29, 11:30 we were supposed to start. And that's where what I've tried is just go through the various scenarios in terms of various industries, segments, where would be opportunities for the startups and the small businesses. Over to you, Paresh.
Sure, sir. That was very insightful. You covered almost all the industries specifically. Though we have few questions, I would probably will extend for another 5-10 minutes and just cover a few questions that are very, looks like very interesting ones. One, what are the opportunities in agriculture sector? What are the new opportunities that can come up in the agriculture sector specifically? So you can stop sharing the screen maybe.
Okay, so let me stop. Sure. So, if you look at the agriculture sector itself, now the agriculture sector, okay, so the agriculture sector, we have already started seeing the reforms which are coming in from India, right? And these reforms were in need of the hour. And to manage those things, there are going to be new opportunity. For example, let's put it this way. What was happening, the mandis were like the kind of in between from the producer and the end user, right? End user could be a customer, a normal consumer, end user could be an industry, end user could be a manufacturing company who uses this raw material or raw food. Now, they were supposed to only get through mandis. And what would happen through mandis? The people would travel for 4 or 5 days. Then they would be kept waiting there for 3 days. And then when their turn comes, the auction would be there. And at that time of auction, whatever the throwaway rate, because now they cannot take back their food to their farms because they already spent 7 days. The food is now going, stale. Some food is getting damaged. The water content starts going down. The weight goes down. And, at whatever the auction price, they have no option but to sell.
Sure.
Now, what the new reforms, they are coming out like Madhya Pradesh. Now they have already come out with this new reform, where now the farmers can sell directly to the end consumer or end manufacturing companies. Now, which means there has to be an effective supply chain management between the farmer and direct consumer. Now this chain is broken. Now, can you create those kind of startups where farm to home? There could be, there's one company which is doing value addition in terms of the fruits. Right? Okay, so what they are doing is that because a lot of fruits get waste and they don't get that kind of price, what they are providing is the cold chain, cold storage chains at these locations near the farm. So whatever is the produce, what they do, that produce of that fruits, they convert into the pulp, and this pulp is now stored very effectively, because now you can reduce in a small chamber itself, you can store large, because the fruits will come in a different sizes, but the pulp can be homogeneous, and therefore even with the small cold storage, you can store that pulp, and then at a proper time you can sell that pulp at 2 times the value of the fruit to the ice cream companies. Now, these are the kind of new products or the new startups which are going to come, which are now going to be directly talking to farmers.
Sure. So I think there are a lot of questions around different sectors that are coming up. I'm sorry, we will not be able to take them all. But like there are a few questions specifically about, because we have a lot of professors also in the attendees today. So what would be your advice on how can actually colleges support the students who want to start up? Because most of them would be looking forward to, and recessions are like the best time to start up. So what's your advice on how should a college support them? You've been an academician as well.
And that's a nice question, and that question is also dear to my heart, because I am now teaching this entrepreneurship course in a couple of colleges, and working with students. I think what needs to be done, the students are very creative. They have the potential. We really don't have to wait for after graduation or third year or fourth year. It's really not a function of age and year. Even at the first year level, we have to start with an activity where maybe one of the activity which I have seen is that starts at the first year level itself. So what college does is creates a very small group of 4 people each. And this could be for all entire class, maybe like 800 students, but a group of 4 people each, and each group is being given 500 rupees, a small amount. It's not a big amount. So you are not really talking about lakhs of rupees, not like 30 lakhs or 40 lakhs. If there are 100 groups, you are talking about 100 into 500. So that is the amount. And then this group is supposed to work on the idea, on the concept. So what needs to be done is that at initial level, you just expose them with the various possibilities. And then after giving that exposure and give that money and ask them work in the group, go back to the society, talk to the people, whatever the area of interest is, whether it's agriculture, whether it's retail, whether it's tourism, whether it's education, and find out what are the problems that can be solved. And because the students, the good part is electricity is free because they can work in college. They don't have to give rent because they can work in college. Internet is free because they are working in college. Laboratories are free because they are working in college. Professors can guide them. Their access is there, as well as the alumni will also guide them, provided those startups are, those groups are very, they are smart and really willing to work to that extent. Everybody will come forward. So at the lowest cost, really, you can get it started. And then you can filter it out. At the end of the first year, you can filter it out of, let's say, 100 groups, maybe there are these 10 potential groups. And then these 10 potential groups, you have a second layer of intervention where you can systematically train them. You can give them training on the entrepreneurship. You can put them into internship mode with respect to the startups. you can now give them a pre-incubation grants, kind of seed grants. And then if they come, go through this mechanism by giving the grants, pre-incubation grants or and if they work hard and take to a kind of a prototype level, now you can touch and feel. Now, if you feel that they are good, now you can give them the next level of funding and the opportunities and the guidance and the place to them. So there can be a tiered mechanism, but my belief that this process has to start in the first year itself. So you don't have to wait for third year and fourth year, because if that guy is good, we have seen up to an example. There is one example out of Amravati. That guy is like for 15 years old, and his name is Mr. Deshmukh, and 15 years old. This guy is earning 50 lakh rupees a year and paying an income tax, and he's alone, and he's just doing a content startup, which means providing a very, very good content on a sites like Shuttercock and all those places. So he's expert in creating that quality content, and that quality content is consumed. So age is no bar.
So absolutely, that's very interesting. And one other thing probably also is that definitely the colleges can give a lot of relaxation in terms of their attendance systems and everything. That's the best way. And other interesting thing is these are all this, like you mentioned one point about internships, right? Actually, their projects itself can be converted to internships and the live projects, and that's going to be a very interesting thing. They can probably recruit their classmates to be a part of their startups, and that's how they get an exposure.
Absolutely. I mean, whichever the companies are there in the incubation center, ask these good guys to be interns there itself. Absolutely. And they can do some of those things around that startups and learn from that. And as you rightly said, some of the colleges have already started doing it. Instead of the projects, instead of other things, if you go for this kind of internships, or if you go for this kind of courses, or if you go for this kind of even conferences of entrepreneurship and present there, we will give you 2 credits.
Yes,
so yes. Autonomous system, and these people need to be celebrated in the college. So there are a separate notice board where millionaires in making. So you need to celebrate those. Even in the parent teachers meet, call these startups doing some interesting work. Even if there's some inspections happening in the college, ask the startups to come forward and showcase. I mean, these are some of those things that can be done in the colleges.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a right parallel there. Like, basically, most of these medical colleges have a hospital attached, right? So, and where they get a practical exposure to the real challenges and problems, diseases actually. Why shouldn't a education institution like an engineering institution or management institution should have an incubator center that's like a practical source for you, where you can actually go and learn?
Absolutely, absolutely. One of my students, this group of 3 people just visited the government hospital,
right,
and they went there only for 2 days. Believe me, after coming back, they said that there are at least 40 to 50 ideas that can be worked instantaneously. I mean, these are very small ideas. Medical people just need that, and that these are mostly engineering stuff that needs to be provided to the medical, and those ideas could be worked.
Right.
So there are a lot of opportunities for that.
Yeah. So before we close down, one question again is what is your advice or suggestion for students probably who are graduating or in the final year? How should they perceive this challenge, and how can they actually look out for opportunities again? What should they do?
Yeah, I think jobs are going to be a problem situation because we are now going to be in a downturn, and instead of preparing for a job, I think you should prepare for a life. And if you want to prepare for a life, as long as you're students right now, you can start right away in terms of doing some of those kind of things with respect to the startups and your idea. Just try it out. The cost of innovation is very, very less. Access to tools is very easy. The risk of cost of failure is very, very less. And you are learning by doing a startup, even if you fail, is 30 times more than your classroom learning. So even if you fail, and if you do like 2 or 3 startups or small startups in your college, let's take a Nagpur kind of example. Even if you do a startup, and you create a product. In Nagpur itself, this region, 57 colleges around and engineering college, we have like 80,000 students. In only one city, this could be a test market easily that could be done. I mean, your market is there, your laboratories, your pre-seed grants, you don't have to pay anything for your employees because they are still these students. You can get your partners of the crime or the startup, which you want to do later in the life. The same, you want to find out who are the best players as the CEOs or CTOs or operations guys or salespeople. Find out those players who could be your partners. Do that, startup, try it out. There is the cost of failure is very, very less. And who knows, if your startup does well, you would be, you not only would have learned, but you would have not be into taking job category, but you would be in a giving job category.
Absolutely. And we had about 10 days ago, we had an interesting conversation again, how to start up during recessions. And we had the founder, Mandeep Manocha, one of the Bloom invested companies, Cashify.
Yeah.
So he was on the call. There's a right quote that he mentioned that when you have nothing to lose, why not start up? Because you're absolutely not going to lose anything in this COVID situation. Like there's not going to be any job or anything that you're actually losing. Why not use that as an suggestion? And another interesting anecdote that came in, not anecdote, it actually was a fact that, so if there were also questions that were posted saying that, what if I fail? What if I fail was a question. And then we said, if you fail, probably you may not be able to run the company again, but there will be a lot of other companies who will be willing to hire you as their CTOs and CXOs. Office.
Yeah, I can tell you one example. There was one guy, Kunal Dapne, from our college, VNIT, and he did his 2 startups in the college.
Right.
And didn't go so far, but when the interviews are happening, he was not willing to even go for interviews. Because he was from mechanical, there was a core company and his parents really forced him to go to that place. And this company, when they were interviewing candidates, his profile stood apart. And out of the 30 minutes, 20 minutes of the interview was on what he did, what type of activities he did, what type of initiatives he did in terms of the startups. And surprisingly, he was the only person offered a job at 16 lakh rupees.
Wonderful.
I mean,
they become most employable people actually.
Yeah.
So, I would like to apologize to our audience because we are running short of time. We have close to about 60 questions unanswered. There's no way to answer them all in the call. Really sorry for that. Thanks for your enthusiasm. So with your permission, before I end, I'll take a thank you note quickly to all our partners and sponsors. As I said, we are doing this as a initiative that we started in the COVID times again, helping the students actually get an exposure to industry. We started this webinar series entirely, and this particular webinar we are doing in a partnership with a lot of other organizations who supported us in the outreach. We have first with VNIT Alumni Association. Mr. Shashi Choudary is the chairman and president of that. Thank you very much, sir. And then we have SRIX. SRIX is an incubator in Warangal who is doing a tremendous job again, who has been partner again. We have Vadhvani Foundation, the NEN program, who is an outreach partner, the Head Start Network. IB Hubs. IB Hubs is an incubator kind of thing in Hyderabad. We've been doing tremendous job. They're actually across India and they've been doing tremendous job. Triple IT Hyderabad, the CIE, the incubator program in Triple IT Hyderabad. T-Hub and T-Tribe. T-Tribe is an academic initiative of T-Hub, is an incubator where we belong to. We are part of T-Hub initiative. And My Startup TV, who has been an outreach partner as well as the media partner for us. Thank you very much, everyone. I would like to also thank my team who have been contributing to helping us to help this setup entirely. So thanks for everyone in my team who has been the backbone and helping us. So before we end, thank you very much for joining us for this lively webinar, and your advice. It was very insightful. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Paresh. Thanks, everybody.